We are the Damned.
We're on Lock In Live.
Hello and welcome to Lock In Live. We're here at Proud in London and I'm here with one of the most iconic bands of all time, The Damned. How are we, The Damned?
Not too bad.
Enjoying yourself? Enjoying life, Captain Sensible?
Yes, 40 years of spreading joy and happiness around the planet.
That's what we like.
That's Phil Collins.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, we spread misery.
It is fair to say that you are one of the most iconic punk bands of all time, and actually punk in the UK and around the world wouldn't be the same if it wasn't for The Damned.
That's very nice of you to say that. Funny enough, you're saying that, but we haven't heard that an awful lot in our career.
Have you not?
No.
Come on, you're joking.
No, not. We were kind of always the outsiders at the beginning, and we were, oh, it's The Damned, you know, kind of a little bit. Because we got in trouble for being honest and saying what we really meant, and we weren't always towing the party line, shall we say. But here we are.
But one of the songs you're going to play, I want you to tell me about one of the songs you're going to play tonight and what it means to you and how it happened.
It's called History of the World, Part 1.
Part 1.
Yeah, it's it's a cheeky title, obviously, and we're getting round to Part 2, hopefully on the next album.
Can I ask you a question about this song? I'll just stand there a minute.
Yeah, you go on, be me.
Give me that a minute.
Go on, have a go.
Captain,
Yeah.
History of the World Part 1, has that got anything to do with Mel Brooks' film of the same title, by any chance?
Yeah.
Was it influenced a little bit?
Yes, I think it was.
Good question.
And
Just because the title, I often wondered, and I sang it and I don't know.
I wrote it and I got no idea.
It was produced though by a deadbeat called Hans Zimmer.
As in the Hans Zimmer, the ultimate film music composer.
Yeah,
It might be that same Hans Zimmer, I'm not sure.
Really?
we gave him his first break in showbiz. Was producing The Damned on that track.
It was something he hadn't done before.
We gave him a really hard time as well.
And you know those kind of old Hollywood movies where they have the director who struts around in the trousers and the, you will do this, you will play that, you will, he was just like that.
Just like that.
I don't want it like this, I want it like that, and he was really over the top. It was an interesting experience because he was a bit of a megalomaniac, perfect for us.
That's all good fun though.
But yeah.
Get you into line.
It was.
Stop being such punks.
The History of the World, a small title, isn't it really, about
It's quite epic, you have to say.
inconsequentialness of a little globe floating in space. Yeah.
So let's cast your mind back to the 70s. You were the first UK punk band to do lots of things. First UK punk band to put a single, first UK punk band to put out an album. Also, one of your first UK punk shows was supporting Sex Pistols, which was quite weird at the time because you were sort of doing more than them but still supporting them.
Yeah, it was a weird kind of situation at the very beginning though, because there weren't that many gigs and it was very small.
And you played a show at the 100 Club.
We did.
Can you cast your mind back to that moment? Can you remember what it was like?
It was pretty scuzzy, wasn't it, if I remember right?
Yeah, I mean, it was quite sort of thrown together and I guess a lot of people that were kind of there didn't even play that well. But,
Really?
Yeah, it was bizarre. It was a buzz. It didn't end well, but I suppose it was a good idea. The Anarchy tour that we ended up on after that was simply because, you're saying that the Pistols and us played.
Yeah.
It was because we were going around and playing gigs already, and we had people who wanted to see us already. So Malcolm put us on the bill because he couldn't get the bill with the Pistols on their own to fill any seats because, out of London, no one knew who they were really.
Yeah.
You read about them, so you might get half a dozen people would know. But then we did that one gig, and then they did the Grundy show. Suddenly we were off the tour.
Wait,
That was the
yeah.
end of that. And of course the whole tour fell apart anyway, but
And how was that? How was that at the time? Were you really annoyed about it?
what, being off that tour?
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to see the Heartbreakers more than anything. Well, no, I mean, it was one of those things, it came together and it could have been doomed to failure from the beginning, I mean, we didn't even think about doing it we were doing the shows, so we'd already been playing it. To us, it was just like doing another great show.
Yeah.
The fact that it didn't happen was a shame, but then we went on and did other stuff, so.
And then Marc Bolan phoned up and said he wanted us to tour with T-Rex.
Yeah, I mean,
So from
what
the
would
Sex
you-
the Sex Pistols to T-Rex, not much difference really.
No.
I mean, what size venues were T-Rex playing at the time?
Massive
Massive.
places.
Yeah.
Were they arena size at that time?
No,
It's scaled
Glasgow
down a
Apollo,
bit.
that sort
Yeah.
of thing. Manchester Apollo.
And what, in terms of musical scene, because I mean, I wish that I grew up in the 70s, I didn't.
Do you really, though, I wonder?
Yeah, because musically I think it was really exciting. I mean,
Yeah.
I personally think musically it's really exciting now. But
I
what's
think
your
it's
take on
exciting
that?
then, and the 60s and the 50s. I mean, not to knock now, things don't grow so organically, you know. It's
Sure.
kind of,
I think for me, the 70s records sound the best because they perfected the kind of tape recording technique and the compression with the valves and all this stuff. And the 80s, it started getting a bit ski-whiff. Now, of course, they got Pro Tools and
The loudness war.
and auto-tune and all that stuff. So the 70s for me is the perfect sound. Records just sound the glam rock and the punk. I mean, it was so opposed at the time, you know, style-wise. But if you played, you know, some kid the 2 tracks from each style and didn't show them pictures of the band, they'd think it was the same.
yeah.
But was it quite a scary time? Because my understanding of punk in the 70s, it was quite sketchy. Like it was a bit
Well, the whole...
violent.
Well, there was a lot of things that were construed as violence from the press that were more about pent-up energy of young kids on a dance floor. There was no dancing together.
So it's like
anymore,
people
they
these
were
days not
leaping
understanding the mosh
around
pit,
and,
basically.
You know, I mean, I can remember the big thing when Shane MacGowan supposedly chewed off someone's ear, you know, and they'd actually just got a bit amorous and he'd bitten a bit hard, you know, and it was kind of... The press wanted that the same way they did it with the Mods and Rockers thing in the 60s, you know. They wanted
It was the end of civilization, wasn't it? This punk menace and all this stuff. And of course, anyone impressionable who read the newspapers in, I don't know, Nottingham or Swansea or wherever we were gigging, you know, they wanted to beat us up. So it was, we'd end up sometimes coming out the backstage door and the tyres had been slashed on the vehicle.
Really?
And all our suitcases were emptied in the street and that. And there'd be a bunch of blokes with bricks.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That sounds awful.
We fought in the punk wars and then, you know, Green Day come along and rake in the cash.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. You take the punches, they take the gold. So in terms of onto sort of newer stuff, now I was totally blown away and I shouldn't have been surprised, but when I heard that you were doing a new album and you were funding it all through Pledge, I just thought the damned are being punk rock and roll yet again. It's probably the most punk rock thing you can do at the moment, is to basically put yourself out there and get it funded, get the new material, get the new projects funded by the fans. I think it's the most DIY thing you can do.
I think it's great. It is in the spirit, as you say. It is very much like. I mean, how else? You know, these days as well, it's so difficult to get things done. It's a funny time now because there's more music everywhere. I mean, it's literally in everything, and good music too. But there's not a lot of ways of artists getting paid for what they do, you know. There's a lot of free music out there as well. So it's a tough time, and there's, 3 record companies left, maybe?
Yeah, in terms of the big ones,
Yeah, and if you want to keep control and you really want to do what you want to do, this was the perfect way to do it.
Yeah. You gave away a bass guitar lesson. Or was it? No, it was just a guitar lesson on Skype.
Lesson, yeah.
Was that right?
Yeah.
So we didn't give it away, someone paid for it. Has that actually happened? Have you done the lesson?
I mean, that's going to be interesting. I mean, yeah, just teach them the damn song they fancy hearing. But the thing for me about Pledge is you get people to cough up for the record first, because when the album comes out anyway, everyone downloads it. Nobody pays for music these days.
That's it.
So get the fans to cough up before the album's released. Is the only answer, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. And then also you gave not giving away. You sold through Pledge some of the microphones that you used at the Albert Hall show.
Well, I only use one. It's the main mic. In fact, I'm still using it right now. But from now on, I'm gonna engrave each number when, you know. So that one will be number 1 that goes out. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, and it's still in perfect nick. So
there
so
we go.
far, yeah. You know, as much as there's all this 40-year thing going on, what we really want to do is work on new material, which we'll be doing next year. You know, we're not quite finished yet. I mean, we could go on forever playing the old song. We've got a good fan base. People come and see us. We have a great time. We do the songs well. But there's always we want to challenge ourselves, and we feel that we're not quite done with that.
Which is amazing. What an amazing feeling to still be inspired and still have stuff to write about.
And each album's different. We've never repeated ourselves.
Yeah.
You know? So once again, the new album's going to be quite different.
There's going to be loads of dubstep in it. You're going to go
whatever that is.
You're going to go sort of all new age on us.
You haven't heard our rap song yet?
I can't wait to hear it. Tell us about that Albert Hall show. Was it just that must have been one of those moments? I mean, I hope that when I get to the end of my career, you know, not the end of my career. Phrase that badly. So anyway, what I mean is, I hope that in 40 years' time, I've still got a career. Is what I mean.
You won't have it long, mate.
And being able to play or show or do something that cements my career today.
Well, I tell you what was nice about that show was the fact it was
You know
it wasn't just the band, it was the audience there this time. It was I mean, I didn't even realise it till afterwards, but it was really emotional for everybody. It seemed that everybody in that crowd were willing us, who'd been the outsiders, who may not have gotten to that point, to do it, you know. And every time a song they loved came and it was we played and it was good, they were like, yeah, then you know, and it was and that was what it
Must have been lovely.
I mean, I've never had so many grown men come up to me and said, I was in tears when you played so and so.
That's amazing.
And that's it was a fantastic feeling. I mean, you know, it sounded like an old lovey, but it was great.
No, that is not an old lovely. But what's next after the Albert Hall? Where'd you play
Well,
next?
Someone said to me, now you can die, so... You know,
Is that it? Oh, it is the end of your career, though, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly, yeah, so maybe you were right. But.
So one of the things we've been doing today is we've been going around with a microphone and getting fans of the different bands to ask a question.
Right.
Now, I've got a
you've
question we're going to ask you.
Special question.
A special question.
I'm quivering with excitement.
So let's have a listen to the question.
What is the Curse of the Damned? Would you have said it was a supernatural phenomena or more of a self-fulfilling prophecy?
Yeah.
That old chestnut.
Well,
It's just there always seems to be this black cloud that follows us around. Everything will go along nicely and then suddenly, boom, you know. It's not uncommon, I know, but it seems to happen to us more, you know, through record companies, managers, gigs, things blowing up. This thing, it's supernatural phenomenon. I don't think, he thinks I'm cursed or something, but I don't think that's it, because it happens when I'm not there as well, so.
well, I did go round his house once when he had you're living in a basement, had a flood. I think it was sewage or something, and he dragged me down to get the carpet out before it
Well,
got...
actually, you were coming around, we were supposed to go through some songs.
Yeah.
And the place was 3 foot high in water, just going
Yeah.
down.
Yeah, but under the carpet there was a pentagram, and he said, "Oh, it must be the previous resident."
Well, it was.
Nothing to do with
You never
me.
met the previous resident, did you?
Yeah, and I thought, no, likely story, and
Don't try this at home, kids.
so I don't know, the curse
And
of the
that's where
damned.
it came
And things do happen to people around us.
Yeah.
But never really happens to us. We're in the eye of the storm.
I like that.
And when John Moss joined, you know, before he was in Culture Club, he had the car crash.
And when Stu joined, he had a car crash too.
Yes, anyone we meet, you know, I mean, I hope you're all right.
I'm starting to
How are
worry
you getting
about it.
home tonight?
You know, sometimes there's been tour managers who've ended up in loony bins or had heart attacks or had, you know, had terrible problems afterwards. And also, especially in the early days, people would work, you know, like roadies, tour managers, things, would come to us thinking it was some excuse for them to go totally crazy.
Right.
So we'd kind of be back a bit, and they were the ones that were going absolutely nuts.
Self-destructing.
And they would self-destruct because they thought, oh, it's the damned, you know. It was very odd.
And you were like, oh, these guys are crazy.
Well, no, we didn't think that. We just, but
Maybe they were just
you know.
they were trying to match us on the bevy front and failing. And,
Oh yeah,
That
the
happened.
gauntlet has been laid down. We should get in there right now. We've got one final question as well. Now this isn't actually a question for you. This is to turn the tables and for you to put a question out there to the fans.
Oh.
If you could ask anything to the fans, and people are going to send tweets and Facebook messages and whatever else, what would you want to ask them? Putting you on the spot.
Those putting us on the spot.
Anything at all. Could be something about the new record or something silly.
We did use a flushing toilet on one of
did,
the
we-
albums. Between each track, there's a sound which comes and goes.
yeah, but which album?
Yeah, which album? There you go. Which album was that on?
It
Which
was-
album had a flushing toilet on it? And it doesn't sound like a toilet anymore.
That is a brilliant question. That should be the question.
Yeah.
Let's make
Well,
that
there
the
you go.
question.
There's
There
the
we
question.
go. What album did the Damned use a flushing toilet as a musical instrument?
And it was used between each track. And there was a little bit more of it at the end, as I remember.
And why?
We used to gamble quite a lot, and it was one of those. I bet you can't get a bloody toilet on the album. I bet I can. I bet I can do it, and I bet you won't even notice it.
We were always trying to get money out of Scabies because he'd bet on
Yeah.
anything. So,
Brilliant.
and when he said something like, we always listen, oh, we've got him
Here
this
we
time.
go, yeah.
Here we go. And so it become hell bent on that toilet being there.
Wicked. Well, guys, thank you very much for your time. And here's to another 40 years of the Damned.
My goodness.
You sure?
You sure about that, sir?